President Muhammadu Buhari assures Nigerians of credible elections in 2019. Nigerian Customs Service strike force seized goods worth over 8 billion naira within a month. These and more on Panorama coming to you from the Lagos Network Center. I am Hingino John Adams. Don't go away. President Muhammadu Buhari rejoices with Nigerians on the new year. In a message to Nigerians, the president says 2019 will be a very significant year for the nation as it is an election year during which leaders will be elected at the national and state levels. The president reiterated his promises and declaration that the 2019 general elections will be free, fair and credible. Elections need not be do or die affair, he said. Nigerians should not approach the elections with trepidation and mortal fear, as a large number of presidential candidates have committed to peace, and peace shall we have. President Buhari said those who continue to trumpet falsehood and negativity are fighting a lost battle, as Nigerians are believing and trusting that his administration will deliver on a level playing field at polls. The president noted that Nigerians desire peace, security, prosperity, inclusiveness, and infrastructural development for the nation. He added that despite the challenges facing the nation, his administration is resolved to combating them, all by making steady and sustainable progress in all areas of national life. President Buhari thanked Nigerians for their support and collaboration in the previous years and for the same in 2019 and beyond. The president said he hopes that Nigerians will renew his mandate for another term, while urging all citizens to rededicate themselves to the vision of a nation that works for all. As Nigerians look forward to a credible and hitch-free elections in 2019, Nigerian clergy say votes must count, as this is the only way to foster unity, peace, and effective leadership. Elizabeth Omori, who spoke with some of the religious leaders in Lagos, reports that they challenged Nigerians to remain focused and look beyond the challenges, as there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Parties warm up and campaigns ring on the airwaves in preparation for the 2019 elections. Concerns are beginning to rise from religious leaders on credible elections. They say utterances that will heat up the polity and manipulative gestures should be avoided by politicians.
Voting is about your destiny and destiny of children unborn. So, you have to be very careful. Your score, your evaluation depends on performance. That's what Nigerians should be looking for.
They need to carry out their campaigns and do whatever they need to do with a sense of responsibility and a sense of fairness and equity.
The youths were also advised to shun electoral violence.
We can't rely on government to do everything. Government is meant to create an enabling environment, and then faith-based communities, NGOs, not-for-profit organizations are meant to take on that responsibility to also encourage, as a catalyst, corporate Nigeria to also do likewise. All hands need to be on deck, and we need to alleviate the suffering and the pain of the underprivileged in our society.
So I will pray for all those in authority, in every state, no matter their party, so that they will succeed, so that God will give them wisdom to govern in righteousness.
Provision of basic amenities, employment and access to funds for small and micro businesses, they agreed, will assist in curbing the excesses of the vulnerable in the society. In Lagos, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
In the spirit of the New Year celebration, the Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, Mekan Tibaru, while felicitating with Nigerians, has promised uninterrupted fuel supply across the country to meet consumers' demand in the year and in the new year and beyond. A statement by the Group General Manager, Public Affairs, advised motorists and other consumers of petroleum products against panic buying as the price of petrol remains 145 naira per litre. He urged them to report any station that sells above the recommended price to the nearest Department of Petroleum Resources or other law enforcement agencies for appropriate sanctions. The Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Boboye Oyeyemi, has urged members of the motoring public to remain cautious in their celebration of the New Year, assuring that the FRSC personnel would remain vigilant on the roads to maintain safety during the period and beyond. In a statement by BC Kazim, Corps Public Education Officer of the FRSC, Oyeyemi described as satisfactory the stability recorded on the nation's highways during the Christmas celebrations, saying that collective faith must be sustained. The Corps Marshal stated that the return journey of people after the celebrations and expected rise in traffic in the new year occasioned by increased political activities towards the 2019 general elections in the country, FRSC personnel would remain on guard to prevent any form of disobedience to traffic rules and regulations, as well as road mishaps. It is often said, you never let go of the past memories. For many years, Nigerians were compelled to ride on trains as old as over 50 years with the attendant fear and frustration. But these are indications that the ongoing rail transportation phenomenon will alter that negative memories of train experiences in Nigeria, as Claire Adelabu Abdurazak finds out riding on the Abuja-Kaduna train for the first time.
Train passengers from Kaduna disembark at the Idu Mega train station in Abuja on schedule at few minutes past 9 in the morning. They scurry to catch up connecting trains to the city center or the international airport. For many of these train passengers, it's been the routine since the train route from Abuja to Kaduna became operational in 2016. Propelled by their compelling testimonies, my phobia for rail transport turned into courage, and off we ventured to Rigasa in Kaduna State by train. Abuja-Kaduna Standard Gauge Rail is the first completed segment of an ambitious intermodal rail transport revolution undertaken by the Buhari administration in 2016. Government officials say the intention is not only to modernize rail infrastructure in Nigeria, but also to connect every part of the country by rail. Like me, Patience here is a first-timer. So far, what's the experience been?
I would say I'm very impressed. Firstly, just the process of getting into the terminal, the train station, was quite smooth. It is neat, the directions are clear. And since boarding, the seats are quite convenient, and I think I'll do it again.
You get everything that you want, and in peace and tranquility, honestly. The government has done well.
For other passengers, however, riding on the Abuja-Kaduna train has become not only a pleasant routine, but a lifesaver.
With the help of the train, I was able to retain my job. If it's to be going by road, I would have resigned because there's no way I'll be going every day.
The alluring thing about the Abuja-Kaduna rail transport is the sundry mobile services.
I'm really proud of the job because I get to meet different people.
There are many others who earn a livelihood working on board as cabin announcers, health workers, porters or cleaners, and even as guards. And from the window, I savored the beautiful scenery as the train glides down from one station to another, 5 in all. The train screeched to a halt in Rigasa station at 5 minutes past noon. We are on the homeward bound to Abuja from Rigasa train station. Did I enjoy the ride? Quite pleasurable. But the most interesting thing about this return journey is that all three coaches, both the two first-class coaches and the second-class coaches, filled to capacity. So far, official record estimates that the Abuja-Kaduna train route accounts for over 1.5 million passengers since operation started in 2016.
The concept of this station has the disabled in mind. The special needs tickets are for the disabled. When you get into the terminal, that is the departure hall, during boarding, we have the lift that will take, that the disabled can access to the platform through the lift. Very soon, the escalator will come on board.
The Idu Mega train station combines aesthetics and retrofitting that makes rail transport both pleasurable and environmentally meaningful. As it is turning out, train travel has become a thrill for many Nigerians like me. In Abuja, Claire Adilabo Abdurazak, NTA News.
You're still watching NTA News Panorama from the Lagos Network Center. More reports ahead.
Is an evil practice abolished all over the world over 200 years ago. But today, human traffickers are selling human beings as slaves in Africa. It is your responsibility to make sure that you and the people you know do not fall into slavery. Don't believe fake promises of jobs abroad.
People went to say Libya, Italy. Italy no use you when they carry me on top water. 4 days now they lock me for inside house, no food, no water. I nearly die. Now God, when me heaven and earth, now save me. If you get 1 naira for Nigeria, you get junior one, you say you no get papa, you no get mama, that make you come out. I beg go they do farm work. You better pass person when enter road.
Don't accept to travel to Europe through the Sahara Desert. You may be walking into slavery. Don't be a slave.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
Thanks for being there. The federal government has resolved to institute a befitting memorial of honor to immortalize the first civilian president of Nigeria, the late Alhaji Shehu Shagari. President Muhammadu Buhari announced this during a condolence visit to the Sokoto family house of the late former president at the seat of the caliphate as Nigerians mourn Shehu Shagari. State House correspondent Adam Sambo has details.
President Muhammadu Buhari arrived Siddiq Abubakar III International Airport, Sokoto, at about 10 o'clock Sunday morning. On hand to receive him were Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, his Kebbi State counterpart Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, former Governor Aliyu Magar Takardawa Mako, and other personalities from all walks of life. The presidential motorcade then proceeded to the residence of the late President Shehu Shagari at Giwa area of Sokoto metropolis, where the Nigerian leader formally commiserated with the family of the deceased over the sad loss. President Buhari's personally signed letter of condolence to the Shagari family was read in part by the Sokoto State Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal.
This indeed is a grievous icus which will be felt throughout Nigeria, irrespective of any differences. Late Alhaji Shehu Shagari was a landmark figure, being virtually our last link to the post-independence government of Alhaji Abubakar Tafawa Balewa and the first elected executive president of Nigeria. Please convey to his immediate family, the government and people of Sokoto State, my heartfelt condolences on the passing away of this great statesman. The federal government will in due course institute a suitable memorial to the late former president. May his soul rest in peace. Yours sincerely, Muhammadu Buhari.
The chief imam of the National Mosque, Professor Shehu Galadanchi, led a prayer session to Allah to grant the late President Shehu Shagari eternal rest in paradise, and to those he left behind the fortitude and courage to bear the loss. Prayers were also offered for guidance and protection of President Muhammadu Buhari by Allah as he strives to put aright the wrongs of the past and ensure a better deal for Nigeria and Nigerians. The late President Shehu Shagari, who died at 93 years, was earlier described by President Muhammadu Buhari as a patriot who lived a life of service with humility, integrity, and diligence worthy of emulation. And as the nation continues to mourn the late president, beginning this Sunday, flags are being flown at half-mast across Nigeria in his honor for 3 days, as directed by the president.
As Nigerians mourn the death of the first civilian president, Alhaji Shehu Shagari, flags were flown at half-mast in Lagos in honor of the late former president, whom many described as a visionary leader. Michael Olale has the report.
From Victoria Island to Ikeja and other strategic locations in Lagos State, some institutions strictly adhered to the directive. Others were yet to lower their flags in honor of the late President Alhaji Shehu Shagari.
Everybody should comply. As a matter of fact, based on his record, based on his contribution to Nigeria, and based on the sacrifice he has made for this country.
Federal government should do more in terms of rename of institutions like university, stadium.
Residents of Lagos described the late one-time president as an outstanding personality with commendable attributes worthy of emulation.
It's very straightforward and a very contented man.
Nigerians believe the present crop of politicians and Africans in general can borrow a leaf from the former president.
Integrity is number one, your past record is number two, and your heart for the country. If you have a good heart for the country, not to go and make money, to go and sacrifice.
His remains have since been laid to rest, while the memories of his good deeds will live on. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
The Nigerian Customs Service Strike Force team of Zone A says it seized goods worth 8.6 billion naira from November to December of 2018, a period of 1 month. The National Coordinator Customs Strike Force Team, Deputy Controller Abdullahi Kirawa, at a media briefing in Lagos, reiterated the resolve of the service at tackling the act of smuggling.
The items seized by the Customs Strike Force include 8,090 50 kg imported rice, 1,200 cartons of Herogram tablets not certified by NAFDAC. The national coordinator of the strike force, Abdullahi Karawa, while taking journalists around the seized items, also reviewed a container loaded with over 1,420 cartons of explosives and fireworks.
The only thing the officers did was to ensure that they perform their legitimate duties and ensure that the country is kept safe, and also ensure that smuggling activities is reduced to the barest minimum. With this, it will serve as a deterrent to those who are thinking of making smuggling a business.
The team in the period under review also seized 195 sacks of pangolin scales valued at 8.3 billion naira, gallons of vegetable oils, as well as 404 used tires.
The pangolin alone is not the duty paid value. We have 8,391,600,000. Then the 8,090 bags of rice, coupled with the second-hand clothing, we are talking about 9 billion naira.
The team expressed zeal not to relent in its fight against smuggling in the new year. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
It was a time of celebration and display of rich cultural heritage of the Nigerian people as 81 Division of the Nigerian Army entertained guests at the 2018 West African Social Activities, WASA. Nenrod Nina Musa witnessed the celebration.
This colorful display of cultural activities sets the tune for the 2018 West African Social Activities, also known as WASA. It is a day set aside by the Nigerian Army to mark the close of a calendar year and the beginning of a new one. General Officer Commanding 81 Division of the Nigerian Army, Major General Sani Yusuf, encouraged the personnel not to relent in the discharge of their duties, as the Nigerian Army is working towards improving their welfare.
The division requires a high degree of professionalism by personnel, which is achieved through realistic training. In this direction, 81 Division has conducted and implemented all training activity consistent with the vision of the Chief of Army Staff.
And we try to minimize the impact of false reporting, sometimes entirely fabricated falsehoods on the social media, and the possible repercussions on morale of our troops must be incalculable.
Prominent traditional rulers in Lagos were represented. There were a rich display of traditional delicacies from different regions of the country. The gathering had a field of diverse cultural displays and rhythmic dances to their admiration. Some personnel who were enthused by the dance steps could not help but join in the dance. The tug-of-war was a tough contest, as the emergence of a winner almost seemed impossible. The women were also not left out in the challenge. Hallmark of the event was the recognition of the non-commissioned officers for their outstanding performance in their units, as well as heads of parastatals. In Lagos, narrates Nina Musa, NTA News.
Nigeria shines at Camtel International Beach Volleyball Championship in Yaoundé as Lobby Stars talk tough ahead of CAF Champions League group stage. Kene Emabodike brings us details on Sports Update.